Biolit, enlighten, uncover, integrate, because life is never separate from knowledge.
The Great Fire of London, Janet Hardy Gould.
Pepys and more arrive at the river. Crowds of people are running down to the river bank. The fire is now in the next street. Families leave their houses with their hands full. They are carrying their things away from the fire. Everybody wants a boat on the river. "Over here," cries a young man to the people in the boats. "I'm first," says an old woman. 3 people climb quickly into one of the boats. It is the Fariner family from Pudding Lane. "It's Thomas Fariner from Pudding Lane," cries a man in the crowd. "Tell us about the fire in your baker's shop." Thomas is frightened. I'm not a baker," he says. "I have a flower shop in Cat Street." The Fariner family leave quickly and go down the river in the boat. Pepys and more walk nearer to the fire. There are clouds of smoke, and thousands of rats are in the streets. They are running from the burning houses. Just then, they meet 20 firefighters outside a burning building. They are putting water on the fire, but it is spreading quickly. "Can you stop the fire?" Pepys asks the chief firefighter. "It's no good," he answers. "There's nothing we can do." "But you must blow up the buildings in front of the fire," says Pepys. "Then it can't spread to different parts of the city." "But we need to ask Thomas Bloodworth, the Lord Mayor," says the chief firefighter. "Where is he?" asks Pepys. "Nobody knows," he answers. "What can we do?" shouts more. "We must speak to the king," says Pepys. "Come on. Let's find a boat. We can go up the river to Whitehall Palace. Perhaps we can speak to the king there." Pepys and more go quickly up the River Thames. It is 11 o'clock in the morning, but the sky is black with clouds of smoke. The wind is stronger, and many streets are now on fire. The houses on London Bridge are burning fast, and people are jumping into the river. Pepys and more reach the river as if entering a living organism in distress. The City of London is no longer just a place, it behaves like a system under extreme stress. Smoke spreads through the air like a toxic signal, diffusing rapidly, carried by the wind as though it were moving through the bloodstream of a body. People rush toward the riverbank, their movements chaotic yet patterned, like cells responding to an injury site. Families emerge from their homes with their arms full, carrying fragments of their lives, objects that now resemble biological resources being relocated for survival. In biology, we often see this kind of response during environmental stress, when organisms redistribute energy and resources to preserve what matters most. Here, London itself seems to be attempting the same. At the river, competition intensifies. Boats become limited resources, and humans, like organisms in a crowded ecosystem, compete for access. A young man calls out, an old woman insists she was first, signals, claims, reactions. The Fariner family escapes into a boat, their fear visible, almost like an organism fleeing a spreading pathogen. Pepys and more move closer to the fire. The air thickens. Visibility drops. Thousands of rats flood the streets, abandoning the burning houses. This moment feels deeply biological, an instinctive evacuation triggered by environmental collapse. Animals, unlike humans, do not wait for permission, they respond immediately to danger cues. The fire itself behaves with unsettling familiarity. It spreads not randomly, but systematically, driven by wind, fuel, and structure. It resembles the uncontrolled growth of cells, expanding beyond boundaries, consuming everything in its path. The word metastasis comes to mind. In biology, this term describes the process by which cancer cells spread from one part of the body to another, invading new tissues and disrupting normal function. In this story, the fire mirrors metastasis, not just as destruction, but as a process, rapid expansion, invasion, and loss of control. London is no longer a stable system, it is a body overtaken. Firefighters attempt to contain it, pouring water like an immune response trying to neutralize a threat. But the response is too slow, too weak. Pepys proposes a drastic measure, destroying buildings ahead of the fire to stop its spread. In biological terms, this resembles a radical intervention, like removing infected tissue to prevent further damage. Yet bureaucracy delays action. The system hesitates, and in biology, hesitation can be fatal. With no authority present, Pepeus makes a decision: go to the king. They move along the River Thames, the city around them darkened at midday. The sky is no longer blue but blackened, as if the atmosphere itself has been altered. London Bridge burns. People leap into the river, choosing uncertainty over certain death. At this moment, the city is no longer just burning. It is transforming, undergoing a catastrophic event that reveals something fundamental. When systems fail, whether biological or societal, survival depends on response speed, adaptation, and the ability to act before the spread becomes irreversible. In every fire, every cell, and every story, survival belongs not to the strongest, but to the ones who respond in time.